Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian is a Weirdo. Today I am working on a whip that I literally started today. So I created a whip and now I'm trying to finish the whip. Whip. Um, so so I have had this yarn in my bathroom closet, like towel closet thing for years, some long amount of time. Basically, since this yarn came out, because I got it when it was very new. And this is yarn that my cat likes to eat. So even though it's not necessarily hard on the hands, I can't use it because my cat wants to eat it. And I've just been like, how the hell am I going to use this? And then I think I was watching Altnaught's video where they got a bunch of scrubby yarn, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, their hands are gonna be torn up." And then they talked about using it in a knitting machine, and I was like, "Can I use this in a knitting machine?" So the answer is yes, kind of. So I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of using it in the knitting machine. I use it in circular mode and panel mode because I wanted to kind of make like a double-sided washcloth thing. But it's a little challenging to use, period, and it makes me also question how easy it would be to crochet. When I crocheted like a couple rows with it when it first came out, and I was excited to use it before my cat started eating it. But then he started eating it, so I put it away. It was fairly easy to use. It didn't seem like I was having trouble splitting the yarn or anything like that. Because this is a chain spun, it's basically just one piece of plastic that's kind of like looped into itself a lot of times, or sometimes. So first I started with a very basic scrubby pattern. This is the Stitch Soak Scrub from Lion Brand. It's still sold on the Lion Brand website. And I believe in some places it is in stores, like Joann might have it in stores. I guess it just depends on your store. So this is a flat circle scrubby, good for dishes. You could use it on your skin. I don't really like, I don't know. I told you all my cleaning video, I use like an exfoliating glove that I just put soap in and I like refill it with soap. So I don't really like things like this because like in showers, I just don't find that things have a great opportunity to dry, whereas they have a better chance like by the sink where we have some things like raised up, at least in my situation. So this is 20 rows on my 22 pin, whatever the Addy Express is. So switch that out of tubular mode for out of panel mode for uh, this. Uh, this is 20 rows on that machine, and then you cinch both ends. You go through the bottoms of each a couple times, you knot it, bing, bang, boom. You have a 2-layer scrubby. So then I saw another video where someone basically made a 4-layer scrubby where they made a longer tube, did the same thing, brought both ends together. But then, so it kind of created like a bell shape. And then they went and they took the yarn and they, around like the bell of the shape, they took the yarn and cinched that as well. So because this yarn has quite a bit of stretch, it is really challenging to find the right tension and maintain a good tension with this yarn. So here it is kind of in its natural state. Here is it very stretched. And it's kind of hard to find like a good, because it changes like throughout the ball. So a little challenging to find the right tension. So the first one I made, so this is 35 rows. It's also like, I did a really weird job sewing it up. Like it's sewn up, but it kind of has this huge hole in it that I can put my finger in. But fun time for later. Anyways, so this is 35 rows. Folded in on itself, so it's 4 layers, because I was like, I really want something where you can get some leverage and really get some scrub in there. so this is 35 rows, done all this, done like I said, and then, but this is with my tension pulled tight, and then these both are the same number of rows, but you can see that they're quite a bit larger than this one, or they're noticeably larger than this one, just based on tension. So it's really hard to get tension right. The yarn did split in some places and not loop over. In other places, I found that it was kind of like hit or miss whether or not I would end up dropping a stitch and then have like a whole run in my work. So what I'm doing for this, and so this is all, like, all these together is one ball, and those balls are really freaking tiny. One skein, I should say. Those skeins are very tiny. So this one I wanted to make kind of like a dishcloth, but wanted to do like a double layered dishcloth. So I just like kind of ran out the yarn and might stitch it up with some cotton or something, kind of depending on what I've got available. So because even though I'm going to double layer it, so so it doesn't need to be like, if I was just doing a single layer and I just did a panel with the Addy and any yarn, it would tend to curl because that's what the panel does. It basically does a stockinette stitch, which a stockinette stitch is when you alternate knit. You do a row of knits and a row of purls, and basically what you're doing is you're creating you're putting like all your loops like on the same side, so it's like got a really good look on one side, and then it's got a clear front and a clear back. But it does tend to curl quite a bit at the sides. So to combat that, partially, I'm going to, hi, ooh, hi Nancy, welcome in from Miami, Florida. I bet you are feeling the heat because it's really hot here in North Carolina. So welcome in. I'm talking about some yarn that I'm just trying to use up because it's been in my closet. My cat likes to eat this yarn, and so I got it to try when it first came out, and like I haven't been able to use it really. So I'm just kind of just trying to survive, aren't we all? But so the sides were a little bit more challenging than normal, because there's like, it got knotted up and I couldn't figure out like where my stitch was. Finding your stitch is like, oh my gosh, this is impossible. Like, it's literally impossible to find any semblance of stitch in this yarn. Very hot and humid. Yes, typical Miami. Yeah, I've only been to Miami once. It was in December or January, so it, we got the best time of year in my perspective because I like cooler weather. But yeah, we're in North Carolina, and the humidity alone would be killer, but the heat and the humidity, I'm like, I mean, I know it doesn't compare, but like, oh my gosh, does it suck? Yes. But welcome to my channel. So, so what I'm going to do is try to repair some of the, basically this is the only mistake out of all of this, which isn't that bad, but part of the reason why I stopped making these is, first of all, it was like, I'm going to have so many of these and they're probably never going to get used. So, I was just like, I was tired of making these, but also if I was doing 35 rows, there would be at least one row that I would have to go in and manually fix. And for some reason, my brain works backwards. I can't like, I don't like, I have to be very like preparing stuff on the knitting machine. I just, sometimes it doesn't work in my brain. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to stretch out the stitches. I'm going to undo the stitches in this particular, I keep saying row, but I really mean, what do I mean? just this column of stitches. And I like some things just got so like tangled and weird, but then it's like, but the rest of it isn't really messed up. So like, where do I start? It just, because like other yarns, if this happened, it would be pretty easy to find out how to undo it, but I'm not sure. Feel welcomed. Well, I'm glad you do feel welcome because you definitely are. Uh, Everyone's welcome as long as you're not an asshole. And I mean, because the asshole rule is already filled by me. Um, where did I put that crochet hook? So, do you do any crafts, Nancy? Oh, cool. Well, welcome in. We're happy to have you. I know I have my 6mm, but that's a little bit big. The I've got my latch hook, not my latch hook, um, my little pick, my loom pick, but I prefer to use a Susan Bates or an inline style hook for this. I literally pulled it out for this. Where is the hook? Okay, sorry. Let me do a little bit of restructuring. So I've got a lot of things going on as per usual. I'm always working on like a million projects at once. Right now, my big thing is tackling all of my works in progress that I haven't really been good at keeping up with, and I'm just gonna go with the 6mm because you know what, whatever. Um, because I have ADHD and also I'm like an ooh shiny person for sure, where I'm like, oh, I could finish this or I could do anything else. And I'm always going to pick the do anything else. So I do a lot of crafts as well, but let me see. So you do a little bit of everything. Great. Love that. Love crafting, crochet, machine knitting, machine embroidery, decoupage. Ooh, yes, I'm a mess. Well, you are right at home. I love a lot of crafts. I won't say all crafts, but I'm always willing to try a craft. But some things are just too tedious for my attention. I love the idea of doing counted cross stitch. Embroidery is beautiful, but do I have the patience for it? And no, I don't. But crochet is one that stands out as one of my, I guess, longest running uh kind of craft fixations, if you will, where I still crochet after all this time. It's always a craft I can come back to. It's something that I really do enjoy, and I like that. I like the freedom that crochet gives you. You know what I mean? So it's not the Addy. We're not gonna blame the Addy. Shh, don't listen to him. Don't listen to Brandon. You're beautiful. No. So I'm using these Stitch Soak and Scrub because I've had this yarn for a long time, but my cat has pica and wants to eat it. We went to 7 Hobby Lobbies looking for Showstopper roving. Well, that makes sense because that roving is quite beautiful. I have opinions about Hobby Lobby. A lot of people have opinions about Hobby Lobby. Really trying not to share my opinions about Hobby Lobby because you get to do with your money what you want. And I am a firm believer in that, but sometimes it just hits you, where you're like, you start hissing like a cat because you're a totally normal human being, not a cat masquerading as a human, because that would be really weird. So it's not the Addy's fault. The Addy, especially at the beginning, does tend to split the yarn. Pretty much any yarn, even if it's unsplittable, it will find a way to split the yarn or act a fool. But once you get past the first couple rows, it's fine. This yarn, it's chain spun, and the strands are so thin that it's kind of not really made for this machine. But I can't crochet with it because I'll have it out too long, and then my cat will start eating it. 6 of them. I rarely go there, but they are discontinued now. Yeah, I think that was a big part of their like big 75% off sale, as far as I've seen. Actually, I'm gonna go in and do that again, but I'm gonna do it from the other side. So I don't have my Addy strapped in, because I know you can do it backwards, but my brain just doesn't really work that way. I'm not that good at machine knitting. In fact, I would go so far as to say I barely manage. So we're not gonna blame the Addy for my own mistakes. I do have a couple free videos on my other channel, which is at the at symbol. Ian is a weirdo 2, the number 2. So if you want to check that out, I think I did a chill pill tutorial. I think I did a plushy vagina. If you want to do that for funny reasons, for educational reasons, if you want to throw it at someone and call them a pussy, whatever. And then I also have one paid pattern on Etsy that is a Grinch that is bending over and mooning someone. So that's pretty fun. Try adding some weight to the fiber. It will help with the stitches. Oh no, nothing would have helped with these stitches. It's the yarn. It wasn't the weight. It's the yarn, because so it's a scrubby yarn. So it's stitch, soak, and scrub. It wasn't it was not it's just because it's a scrubby yarn that's stiff, and then it's also the strands are so tiny that I'm glad to be done with this. I will not buy this yarn again under any circumstances. I'm sure if you want to crochet with some, if you want to crochet with some yarn that is good for scrubbies and stuff like this, I think you might like this, because I did not find it that difficult at all to crochet with, but it doesn't love the machine. But and some yarn just will not work on machines. Like if you machine knit, that there's some yarn that will just split. Like cotton is a really difficult one. It's possible, but it's really difficult. Some yarn will just like terrorize your machine. So we like to be gentle with our machines because they're expensive. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I have the 48 pin Centro because I just can't bring myself to. The Centro does a just fine job. I have had to replace mine. I have one that's busted and doesn't do anything, so I don't know. I still have it. I tried to sell it to like someone who like, because some people repair them, and I figured someone could repair them. Like I've taken that machine apart. I'm looking at it right now. If you're wondering what's happening to my face right now, I've repaired it. I've repaired it. I've taken it apart, put it back together so many times, but still, I can't figure out what's wrong. Like my gears aren't like worn down or anything. They're not easy for me to fix. It doesn't. It drops stitches. It doubles up on stitches all the time. It's just like it's I can't make like it's not functional for me. So I was trying to sell it really cheap, and then but shipping for the package is a little bit more expensive because it's a larger package for a 48 pin, and people in like some knitting machine groups were kind of assholes about it, and I was like, well, fuck y'all, I'm not giving it to anybody because nobody wants it. I've looked at almost every video that says like knitting machine repair, like knitting machine repair, knitting machine cleaning. Every video I've no, that's not a weight thing. I've tried that. Like I promise you, that's not it. That's not it. Like it's just like the like every like I don't know what's wrong with it. I want to change subjects. I really can't talk about this right now. I'm really pissed off. Just at the fact that it exists and I can't fix it. Because I can't figure out what's wrong with it. And it's so frustrating because I just want to figure out what's wrong with it. That would be really nice. Yeah, it's so inconsistent. Um, it does. You're right. It like adding weights to the fabric definitely helps. Like you're not wrong in saying that, but like I'm telling you, it's not a problem. It's like there's a machinery issue that I can't figure out, and I know that there are people who are good at fixing things and really good with um, the with fixing knitting machines. And I wanted to be like, hey, I will give you one very cheap. And people basically told me like every like no one wanted to pay for it, so it's mine. It'll collect dust here or it'll be tossed in the trash can. I have one that works. It's worked just fine. I've cleaned it before. If things weren't running smoothly, I use weights on it. It's not a problem. So yeah, but this yarn I would not recommend personally for this for uh, for the knitting machine. It's not the worst, but it's going to have problems. Like you're not going to make it through without problems with this yarn. And while they can be repaired, the yarn is let me give you the specs on this, because I could just say it's plastic, but I mean that's not super helpful, is it? Stitch Soak Scrub. So this is the Lion brand Stitch Soak Scrub. So I got a really light color. So that might have made it harder on myself to see. So it's on Hirschner's, which I always like to buy from Hirschner's because it's the best. But the color is pretty light, so it's almost like clear. So that is a little challenging to see. So like 0 out of 10 would recommend. This is the color Lilac. So let's see. So it's 100% nylon. It's a number 4 worsted weight, 1.4 ounces or 92 yards per ball. I'm gonna get a double-sided kind of wash rag type thing, and then I made a couple scrubbies on my machine for like dishes and stuff. So I was thinking about just pulling this up and doing double layer, but I think I'm just gonna crochet it because I just don't have the patience. So this yarn is very interesting. Because you can have it on, what the fuck just happened? Oh. So you can have it on your hook, right? You have this one strand that's all it says it's a chainette style, right? So but all of a sudden you're pulling and then it's like you're just pulling one strand and you're like, how did I manage to just pull one strand, but the fibers around it have not unwoven, like unchain spun themselves? And it works in mysterious ways, and I don't like it. If you like this yarn, that's great for you, but it's not for me. But yeah, so I think it might, like, I was using my Clover Moore hooks, and it's not as soft as tulle. It's much firmer. Hey Nifty, welcome in. Hey, Zach. So I'm going to cast off. Really should have left more yarn. That was poor planning on my part, but that's okay because we're just gonna use some cotton and go around the edge. Also, so if you get a knot in it, the knot will come undone. Like, let's say they ran out mid skein and they tried to tie in more yarn to it. The yarn is so slippery that the knot will just slip out. So you can't really knot it. I tried using you just got rid of the hiccups. Well, that's good. Don't jinx yourself by getting more hiccups by saying that. Um, uh, the what was I saying? Fuck, goodness, probably wasn't important. Let's be honest. I tried also so sometimes with acrylic yarn, if I want to prevent anything from coming apart, I will go in with a lighter or a candle, usually a lighter because they're just a little bit easier to control. And I'll go in and melt the fibers a little bit so that it's it is secure. But this, because I was like, oh, it's chainette spun, but it's splitting on me, and so I was like, maybe if I melt the ends together a little bit, it will be a little bit easier to um like keep on my needle and stuff like that. Nope, it just burns. It just burns right away. Does not melt to itself. So that was a fun experiment of failure. And then lesson learned. And so yeah, you can't melt it together. You can't tie it together. So luckily that knot I found was located at the end when I was just like, okay, whatever. Otherwise, I would have had so much trouble trying to figure out how the hell I was going to attach two pieces of this yarn, which that's really frustrating. What if that was in the middle of your project? Would have been a not fun time for anyone involved, right? I thought I was going to do more um, ribbing and stuff. So I did cast on with some yarn, which I don't always do, but I did for this because I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go with this. It was really just about playing with the yarn. And I just kind of wanted to get it over with because having it out is a safety and health hazard for my cat. Yeah, I mean, I could see some people really like it. When I crocheted with it, it actually was pretty fun to use, but my cat just the texture of anything that has a mesh or that kind of texture he really loves. So the chainette plastics uh, material was he compulsively has to eat. So he has a type of it's not OCD, but it's I think it used to be associated with OCD, but I think the common vernacular is that it's not. It's its own separate thing. Um, so, but it's when any animal, including humans, can have it when you eat something compulsively that is not edible. So some people will eat bars of soap and things like that. And for him, he compulsively eats things that can kill him and almost have killed him Like, we removed a dryer sheet, which is how we found out from his stomach, which is how we found out that he had pica, which that was not fun. But so the thing that's really nice is, yes, it's firm plastic. Yes, it's a scrubby yarn, but it does have a texture that is really unique in the world of scrubby yarn. And I think that's why so many people were interested in it when it came out. And I definitely was one of those people who was interested in it. And I think it definitely has its uses. It's just, I would not recommend this as a knitting machine friendly yarn. Let me go get some cotton and maybe I'll do some little side stitches or something. I'll figure it out. Who knows? Okay. That's all my packer cotton, so I don't want to use that because I use that to make money. Sorry. Also, I don't have pants on. What's new? Jeez. Okay, let's see. I have a lot of these. What is this? This is Rainbow 8-4. It's a little thin for what I was thinking. I don't know if I have any like 8-8 that would work for this. I mean, it's just a fucking scrubby. Who cares? This is all gonna be 8-4, isn't it? I have so many shades of red because I was trying to color match a red that I got, and I didn't think I was gonna have enough, and I was really nervous. So I bought like 10 different reds from Hobie. Fuck. Okay. But I'm gonna use a cotton acrylic blend because it's good enough for me, and this is mine. So who gives a shit? My cat's like, "What are you doing? Why are you moving around? Can I eat?" So once it's knit up, he doesn't try to eat it because I even tried to be like, "Hey, what's this? What's up?" And he was like, "I don't care." And I'm like, "Okay, Queen. Like, you really gave a shit when it was not in this form." But I guess I'm glad that he's not going to try to eat a scrubby pad. If you're wondering what Nightbot is talking about, I'm thinking about. I just started it, so I'm thinking about continuing it. See if people are interested. And I'm calling it like this stitch of the month, where I talk about a stitch. I show the stitch if you don't know what it looks like, and what I'll do is basically I will. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask, and as you all know, I'm very bad at that. But I'll show the stitch, and you can make whatever you want with that stitch. Also, you can combine it with other stitches as long as the stitch of the month is featured in your final work. You don't have to do a pattern. You can if you want. I don't care. You don't have to make anything in particular. You can make anything you like that makes you happy. And it just has to feature the stitch of the month. So I thought that could be a fun way that we could all not only learn new stitches, which use wool and felt it by washing in hot water and drying in a hot dryer. I like the idea, but packers are extremely, extremely hot to wear. They are incredibly warm, and part of the draw of cotton packers is that they are so moisture wicking, which I know wool is moisture wicking. But they're moisture wicking and they're cooling, so they're not going to add a lot of heat to the area. So I don't think wool would be something that I know. Like I would not. I would personally not wear a wool packer. I'd rather wear my silicone one because at least it, you know, like I don't have to like cleaning it and stuff like that is really easy. But I don't even like wearing that one because it's heavier, which the wool wouldn't be that problem. But yeah, I, it's all about airflow and plant-based fibers for me with the packers. So because I can literally cannot see my stitches, but I do like the idea of felting them. That's a cool idea for sure. Uh, let's see. It's impossible to see where the stitches are because it's just like a big conglomeration of plastic. So I'm gonna go in with let's do a 4 millimeter clover more. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the border, but I'm just gonna make it up as I go. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean cotton is more affordable. It's I mean there's such a wide range of colors. Um, I I yeah, I mean I understand. Yeah, it was nice to meet you. Take luck with your cat in the yard. Thank you, I appreciate that. Um, the winter Willie. Yeah, yeah. I think the thing is, I know a lot of people who have naturally occurring outies, if you will, are often talking about the the heat of the situation, if you will, and it is like it, it's definitely when you're not used to having heat there all the time, it becomes an insane like oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. It's just like it's so hot and you can be like dripping sweat. Granted you wouldn't necessarily with the drip sweat with the packer, but you would still be quite warm. And that area always is warm. So that's one of the few places where your body's like, nope, we're gonna keep our warmth. Thank you very much. Um, but yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, I'll check that out. I prefer to felt something different, but I like the idea. I like the spirit. I think one thing that really is lacking in the gender affirming um, space, just in general, is just like actually practical and comfortable to wear items. Like it's just so um, like it's just it's like for like trans women who use like chicken cutlets, like they're hot and like it's uh I should say like trans femme people, but like, it's just like everything's just like it's so like it's great in theory and yeah, like probably cheaper to produce, but like, like, uh, it's everything is so hot. So that's why things like knitted knockers are great because they don't have the same like heat, or like they have like some perks to them. But then you also have to consider that the shape of them isn't exactly quote unquote like natural looking, so we want to like consider that. Wow, sorry, Nightbot just, I tried to space them out better. I feel like it was a little bit better earlier, and now it's just like, okay, well, we were a little bit better and now we're not. So I'm doing a little scallop on the edge. I just feel like that'll look a little nice. I'm not in love with the idea of doing cotton blend, but I didn't want to use any of my nice Hobie cotton on, oh damn it, I didn't move my ends, and whatever, I'll do it later. Um, uh, because it was an 8/4 and I really didn't want to use an 8/4 yarn, and then also I have the, like the a couple of like the rainbow pack, the rainbow 8/4 pack, so it has like a grading of like, I have a grading of blues and purples and greens and stuff like that. And so I could use one of the purples, which would be really nice. I could use a white, which I'm using a white cotton neck. But the Hobie ones I have are an 8/4, which is a fingering weight. So I just didn't want I just didn't want to use yarn that small. In other news, I watched the last movie of the Divergent series today. Um, I I liked the first movie. I thought it was a good, like young adult dystopian. Dollar Tree cotton is what you need. Yeah, I do have some, but I only have it in blue and a blue and white marl. So I was like, that's kind of a weird color. And then I have some like big twist cotton, because that was on super sale when they did their most recent sale. But I only have Halloween colors, and I wanted to make like a pool cover up type thing. So I didn't have like the colors I want to make it kind of cute. So if I had like a white 4-weight cotton uh, that I wasn't using for packers, I would, but I use I use all my 4-weight cotton that's white. But yeah, Dollar Tree cotton, it's super reliable. Um, I really like. I mean, and the fact that like Premier is doing, a lot of their uh, yarn now is really great because it gives us uh, a lot of access to things that we would normally have to just purely buy online. So it's nice to be able to try out things, or just get a bunch of different colors and do smaller items. I have a bunch of Dollar Tree yarn, actually, that I do use pretty consistently. But just using what I have right here in my own personal yarn store, yep, this is what we're getting. Uh, it's pretty fun. It's cheesy, like it's super cheesy. It's you know, um, but the movies do get progressively. I guess the second one mostly wasn't bad. Oh my gosh, the guy who plays like the male lead is so hot, so hot. His name is like Theo something or other. Incredibly, just I don't care what he's saying. He's like actually a decent actor, but like some of the actors in there, actually most of the actors in there, I would say it wasn't the actor's fault. if we're pointing fingers at whose big failure it was, I would not blame the actors. It was just like a really like poorly written movie. Um, so we had watched this series as it kind of came out, and then they came out with the last one, and I guess we just never saw it because I was like, oh yeah, I've seen the series, and then okay, so there was one where I just like didn't catch the end, so I'm just gonna pull that in here. But oh my gosh, was it so terrible? In my opinion, my professional opinion, yes. I mean, if you maybe just saw it, I mean, you couldn't just see it if and not see the other ones because there's no context. But it's a lot of recycled like things from like both movies that they had done, like literally the exact same things, and then a lot of like dystopian young adult or dystopian books in general, like tropes that like you're just like there's no you spent all your creativity thinking of the idea of like the books, and then you're like writing it and you're like, oh, this is pretty dumb. It's at points I was like I would stop it and I'd text my wife and I'd be like, this is fucking painful to watch. And she's like, why are you watching it? I was like, because I've started it. So, and I was like, and I'm bored. So I did cause myself that pain. I could have taken the out, but I'm no quitter. Actually, I often quit things. What am I talking about? And it's okay to quit things that aren't serving you. Um, so I got new body jewelry in. You may notice my hair is really flat right now. It'll perk up it once uh, it dries. But I did get some new body jewelry in today for my lip and nose. I stretched up my nose a little bit, my septum piercing. Um, and I was hoping it would look a little bit bigger than it does because it looks like almost the exact same. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a little bit of a bummer, but okay. It's a step towards the right direction. I don't want to go like crazy huge personally. That's just not what I want. But I do want something, so it fell short in some aspects. In almost every aspect, unless you just want to look at a really hot guy for half the movie, which no shame in that game for sure. But that's about the extent of its perks. It does have Octavia Spencer in it. She's in this movie for about 30 seconds total. Like it had like some really like what is it, Jeff Bridges? Is that who I'm thinking of? What is it called? Insurgent? Nope, Allegiant. Allegiant movie cast. Theo James. He's really just gorgeous. Jeff Daniels. Who did I say? Did I say Jeff Daniels? Or did I say somebody totally different that was totally wrong? Naomi Watts is in it. She's fierce. She was in the last movie as well. Miles Teller is in it. He facially, meh. Body, yeah. Bill Skarsgård is in it, and you're like, where did you come from, Pennywise? Like, what the hell? Um, uh, Ansel Elgort, which is a really weird thing. So, if you watched A Fault in Our Stars, Ansel Elgort, and yeah, I don't have my lights on. I can turn them on if you want. But yeah, let me know if you want, and I'll turn my camera off so I don't give anyone a reaction from the blinking that happens when I that it takes to get to the right light mode. But so like literally the same time pretty much that Divergent, the first movie, came out, Fault in Our Stars came out. And so in Fault in Our Stars, Shailene Woodley, the 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 lead, the female lead, the ultimate lead, um, and Ansel are like boyfriend girlfriend in Fault in Our Stars, which that movie made me cry like someone had like murdered my children in front of me. I lost my shit. Okay, I will. 1 second. Hey, Betty, you want to share with them how beautiful your body is and how skinny you aren't? Here's my cat, JL. He's a big boy. He really doesn't eat that much, so I don't know why he's so big. He's really long. His full name is Jean-Luc because we are Star Trek people, but yeah, I'm gonna give all the kisses. I don't care. I know you're embarrassed and know you're too cool for your dad, but like, I'm never too cool for you, son. And my dog's like, I'm not too cool for anything. Um, that's his voice in my head. So Fault in Our Stars came out. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and like in love and all this stuff. At the same time, Divergent comes out. They're both in the same movie, and they're brother and sister. So it's really weird knowing that they're both like in the same movies at the same time, because yeah, it's just a little weird. Don't watch a lot of movies or shows. YouTube has become my entertainment. I have premium and canceled all the other streaming services. Yep, that makes sense. My wife is a lover of TV, so we will likely never get rid of TV. But we don't have cable. We just have, and we do we might share. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you have friends, we might do that. Who knows? Who's to say, really? I think I'm going to incriminate myself on camera on purpose. On purpose being the keyword. My cat's name is Chester the Molester. I like the spirit of a rhyming name. So let's see. What did Nifty say? I love YouTube too for crochet company. Yes, crochet too much. Yeah, and it can get really lonely. One of the things I do like, if you do go out into the world, is that you can take crochet with you. You can sit down in a coffee shop, you can sit down at the library, whatever, and you can crochet. And so many times it becomes a very social thing, because people who don't crochet or knit will come up and ask you what you're making. And people who do will, come talk to you about different techniques and all kinds of stuff like that. So it can be a surprising. I think people who aren't in the crafting community are often surprised at how social it can be. But yeah, it is nice to have a really solid community here on YouTube. And there's so many entertaining personalities and just all different types of videos, educational, comedy, like literally you can get just about anything here on YouTube. So we are quite thankful for that, of course. Now, if only I could get monetized, but that's not in my future. A 5.5 in your travel bag. That's a great hook size to keep there. Yeah, I mean, it's a very useful hook. I usually just travel with the hooks that I'm using for that specific project because, I mean, because I don't have like that my go-to hook size. Like, I think if I had to pick one, it would probably, I don't know. It's like, am I using cotton? Because if it's cotton, I'm probably using 3.5 or a 4. Um, and and uh, but like, do I think I like lean more towards a 5. I think at one point I leaned more towards a 6 because a lot of the tutorials I was um, uh, that's what all of the tutorials I was following were using, so I was going to use that hook size. So I don't really have my go-to size. No, that I think I did like a, you know, how well do you know me type thing a while back, and this is all I'm doing on the border, like a little pastry. It kind of looks like a little Pop-Tart, doesn't it? That's kind of fun. If I could like have like a little refillable, we don't really use bar soap on the dishes, and I don't really want to have like a bar soap sleeve for the shower because I already have one thing filled with soap. So why would I need another one, right? Um, but Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna finish crocheting around the edge of this. I'm probably gonna crochet all the sides, including the folded side, just so it looks nice and even. But then I'll have a little scrubby like this. I'll have um, 3 of the 4-layer because it's in the tubular mode, and then it's like doubled up twice. So these are 4 layers each. When this, like I said earlier, getting the tension right on this yarn was super hard, which is part of the reason why it was hard to run through the machine. Because if you pulled it way too tight, it's like pretty, like almost rock hard. But it's a lot softer, and I would imagine a lot easier to clean dishes with, if you kind of like let the yarn relax. But then it's like the yarn tension changes based on how stiffly molded the plastic was, that it's a little challenging to keep consistent tension on it. So that was one of the problems. And then I have a circle, like 2-layer scrubby that basically is just cinching both sides and then flattening it like a little pancake. So I'm going to let you all go. We've been here for about an hour. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And yeah, so I'm gonna keep working on whips, and we're gonna keep making our way through them. Hopefully I won't start making more whips. Like I said, I started this literally today, but I just was like, I need to get rid of this yarn that I have on my it like in it's been in my closet, in my bathroom for so long because I had to keep it away from my cat because my cat will eat it from his pica when it's just in its like string form. So I was like, I have to hide it from him, but I didn't know what else to do with it because I couldn't bring it out to crochet with. Otherwise, he would immediately go to it. So using the knitting machine was the best option. but it obviously is it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I wouldn't buy it again, but that's just my 2 cents. Maybe you can try it and tell me what you think. It's on Hirschner's, and let's see, is it on sale? Hirschner's always has a sale on something, so they have a 15% off coupon for all things, and then it's $3.99, which I don't believe is the sale price, but things go on sale pretty regularly. It's Lion brand, so it'll probably go on sale when all of the other Lion brand is on sale. So I hope you all have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Bye.